Okay. Oh, we got Ivory coming in. All right. Well, thank you, Yadi. Good day, everyone. Hope you all are having an amazing Sunday wherever you are across the country, across the world. Really excited to kick off today's Dominican Writer Salon. And what was I going to say? Yeah, today I'm hoping we have a good time. It's National Poetry Month. I'm a poet myself, so I'm hoping to have some fun with la lengua or language or tongue, depending on how you want to read it. But yeah, normally I do another kind of workshop I've been toying around with, but I wanted to do something a little bit more low key. So we'll jump into why I did that today. So if we could do welcome and introductions in the chat. Introduce yourself. Let's get to know each other. One of the biggest things about Dominican writers is the community that we build. As an artist, it's important that we support each other, that we nurture our inner creatives, because at the end of the day, a lot of us are super insecure and are super shy. And, you know, we really have to build our confidence. And part of that, it comes from community. So please, in the chat, introduce yourselves. Your name and your pronouns, astrological sign, answer the question, where do you call home? And your preferred genre to write. And I'll read out in the chat if anybody chatted in, or if they want to come off mute, whatever you want to do.
Okay, so I'll start. Hi, my name is Jadi, even though the name says Dominican Writers, but my name is Jadi Valerio. I work part-time with Dominican Writers. My pronouns are she and her. My astrological sign is Aquarius. New York is home to me, and my preferred genre is creative nonfiction, but I write anything. I'm not a poet, but I do write poetry. I do a lot of creative nonfiction. That's my genre of choice.
Dope, Yadi. Thank you for kicking us off. And if you write poetry, you're a poet. So just want to tell you that. Anybody want to jump in?
Should I
go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I'm Mari Escalante, and I go by she and hers, and I am a Leo. And New York City is my home, second home to Mexico City. And I do write, I will say, short story and children's books, stories, my preferred genre. And I think I'll say the same as Kelsey. I'm not a poet. I do write poems, so they come, you know, they sometimes emerge. But I will be, you know, I'm an aspiring poet, I will say.
Okay, good. Well, we hope to stoke your aspirations today. So many things. My mom's a Leo, so shout out to Leos, fire signs. I'm a Sagittarius, and Mexico City is one of my favorite cities in the world. So happy to have you, Mari.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, yeah. Other folks, and again, you can put it in the chat if you don't want to share audio. But yeah, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Jacobo. My pronouns are she and they. I'm a Gemini, sun sign, rising Pisces, and Libra moon. So I love to say that I'm like 6 people in one. Where do I call home? Miami's home. And but I live in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and still have connections to California. So I'm all over the place too. And my preferred genre is poetry, though I do kind of like a storytelling within my poetry. So there's a lot of narrative in my poetry. And sometimes they become short stories too.
I love that. Andrea, so good to have you. Andrea's led a couple of these that I've been a part of, so I'm happy to have another Dominican writers group. So
of course, I'm so excited about this topic.
Thank you. All right, other folks.
Somebody typed their thing, their exclamation.
Yeah, Ivory, welcome. Ivory's joined us before. Gemini, living in LA, although Bellingham, Washington is home, and poetry is your preference. Welcome, Ivory. Bellingham, Washington. Okay, how far is that from Seattle? I know that there's like know a little bit
I
about
could,
Seattle.
It's like
I could say,
an hour and a half north.
Okay. No, welcome, Ivory. Happy to have
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
No doubt.
hi, Ivory. We are nearby each other. I am Erica. I am in Humboldt County, California, aka Weed Country, where all the weed in the country comes from, and the world really. It's a very beautiful place. It's more than just that, but it's like an off the grid type of community type of place. I call this place home. I'm originally from New York, raised in Georgia and Florida. I go by she. I'm a first-time mother. My baby turns 1 in May 4th. So yay. I strive to show him our culture. That's part of the reason why I do this. And there was another question. I'm a Capricorn, January 14th. And Ivory, I am also a Libra moon, so I understand the 6 people thing. And I'm a rising Scorpio, so that just puts everything together in a mystery. So I'm excited to join this writer salon. I'm a writer, but feel like I've experienced what a lot of people experience with they call it creator's block, but I really feel like it's a lack of tools and community to express yourself in with comfort and without judgment. So I appreciate this, and I'm looking forward. And last but not least, my favorite style of writing is creative nonfiction as well. I really like in detail stories that you can get to know the person's personality, get to know a place's personality without traveling. I really appreciate that. And my favorite book, okay, lastly, my favorite book is Mexican Gothic. Very beautiful, descriptive book. That's all. That's me.
Did you type that in the chat, Erica?
Say it again.
Type the title of the book in the chat.
Oh, yep.
We love book recommendations here because we don't have enough book stacks on our desks right now. Maybe it's just me. Awesome. Thank you, Erica. Welcome. I feel like there's a lot of first timers here, at least it's in my experience. So I'm excited for us to be growing our community. It's amazing. I'm going to shout out some people in the chat. Nicole chimed in. Nicole, welcome, a fellow Sag from New York City and write poetry. I feel like, you know, Nicole, Nico, like we both do it. Liner, she, her, hers, Pisces, home is Santo Domingo, perfect. And write anything, just love writing. We love that. And I think that is everybody. Well, that is great. Again, I'm really excited to be growing this community and welcoming you all to your first writer salon. For those, this is your first time. For those who are vets who've been here before, always good to have you in the space. And I'll introduce myself now as your facilitator. So again, my name is Nicco Diaz. Pronouns are he, him, his. I am a proud Sagittarius, Gemini moon. I forget all the other ones because those are the 2 that are most like resonant for me. But yes, where do I call home? Right now I'm currently in the Bronx, but broadly I call New York City my home because I rep the Bronx and East Harlem. And my preferred genre right now is poetry, but like similar to you guys, sometimes I'm more into short stories. I have ambitions of writing my own memoir one day. So doing some of that creative nonfiction work is really, really fun. And generally I like writing essays as well, just like I journal every day. So that's kind of like where I write my like personal essay work. So welcome. Well, I'm excited to have you all here today. So setting our purpose. I've been fortunate enough where like the writer salon has really nurtured me and my poetic sensibilities since I joined last year already, which is crazy to me. So like around April, May, I started joining Dominican writers and then picked it up. And I started facilitating these sessions in the fall of 2021. And so I think with the way I like to think about this is our playground. So we want to make this a safe space for everybody. And so as Ms. Bristol says, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy, right? Like everything we do here is like anything with art, right? Is like progress over perfection. We're not striving for masterpieces. We're not starting the great American novel here, or maybe we are, but when people are sharing their work, it is very raw. And so we want people to use this space to take risks with their creativity, to have people nurture them and push them if they want to be pushed, but everybody's at a different place in their writing journey, in their artistic journey. So in order to make this a safe space, I created these guidelines so that we can just, or community agreements, I should say, so that way we can all play well in this sandbox together. Stay muted unless you're sharing. Really push yourself. So like I heard a lot of people saying they're like, oh, like I'm not a poet. Well, embrace that moniker today. Write some poetry. Or if you typically write poetry, maybe try a different genre. Today's admittedly is going to be mostly focused on poetry. So it may be a little bit tough, but like what I love about these prompts and whenever I do these workshops is like, do what you want. Like this is like I'm here to provide guidelines, but like if you don't like something about a prompt, tweak it. Like whatever inspires you to make some good art, do that shit. And then my favorite, or not my favorite, one of the things that I've become very focused on in just my life in general, but particularly when it comes to my art, is boundaries. And a big boundary for me when I started coming into these spaces was like, people offer me feedback, but like I wasn't necessarily looking for that. Like that's not what this is for, right? Like we're not here to critique people's work. Again, this is like I'm giving people 5 minutes to write a poem or a reflection. Like we're not looking to see how you can make it better unless the artist asks for that. So don't share feedback unless it's invited, please. So these are the community agreements. And at any point, if we feel like there are other things that we want to abide by or bring up, like I definitely welcome everybody because we're definitely co-creating this space together. All right. So we're going to do a quick warm up. Can I get a volunteer to read the cinquain? And one of the things that I like to do with my workshops is expose artists to other forms and structures to writing poetry. This may be the first time you've heard it. You may have written 50 cinquains in your life, but I want us to dabble in this form. So can I get a volunteer to read out what is a cinquain and then the poem that follows? Let's get somebody who this is. Oh, go ahead. I heard someone.
I can do it.
Yeah, go ahead, Mari.
A cinquain is also known as a quintain or quintet. It's a poem or stanza composed of 5 lines. Snow by Adelaide Crapsey. Look up from blackening hills. Blows down the light. First breath of wintry wind. Look up and scent the snow.
Thank you so much. Beautiful reading. So yeah, so Adelaide Crapsey was the originator of the cinquain, and it's essentially just a poem of 5 lines. And so we're going to do that together today. And we're going to just start with writing it with this format. But I want us to do something fun. So give me 1 second and I'll send it in the chat. So we're going to write cinquains, but I want to share this cool technique to write poetry. Where is it? Of course. Okay. 1 second, y'all. All right. So I'm going to send this in the chat. And you're going to click the link and some words are going to come up and you're just going to write a cinquain with that, but using the following format. So we're going to share screen. So it's in the link. So we're going to use that to write a cinquain about poetry or writing. So it's just going to be like very limited because we're going to be using these 2 things. Okay. So using the link that I sent with the poetry magnets, write a cinquain about poetry, and you're going to have 5 minutes to do that.
I noticed that when we click the link, it comes with a specific set of words, but then you can click more words. Do you want us to limit ourselves with those words, or we could click more words? And
if you feel inspired by those words and you feel like you can do it, great. If you can't, make it work for yourself. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So we have 5 minutes on the clock. And again, writing a cinquain about poetry or writing in general using this format. Line 1, 1 word. Line 2, 2 words. Line 3, 3 words. Line 4, 4 words. Line 5, 1 word. All right, 5 minutes on the clock, go. I know I finished mine already. So if you want to write another, you're totally welcome to do that. Right, we got about another minute. A couple of seconds, and if you're interested in sharing, please raise your hand so we could get some volunteers to share out, because I love to hear what people are writing. Okay, one volunteer. Mari, you're our sole volunteer.
Uh-oh, I'm the only brave one here. I'm sorry.
Usually, after one person goes, people usually,
Then,
but yeah, please go ahead.
it's an honor, actually. Thank you. It takes a little, yes, we can do it. Here it is. Storm, a rainbow after a morning rain, a bluebird, adventure.
Okay, thank you. Nope. Can you read it again?
Sure. Storm, a rainbow after a morning rain, a bluebird, adventure.
I love that. That's really cool. Nice. Does anybody else want to share this in Queen? Linnea, I see you.
Love this. I love the magnet thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so I use the words that were already there. I try to challenge myself. So it goes peace, happy thought. I wrote with winter, mountain, summer song, dream. That's it.
I love that. That was beautiful. Thank you. Andrea, it's all yours.
Yeah, I also did the same thing. I was so tempted to put like more words, and I'm like, no. Look at taki. Many, color mountain, new say gentle, inside over, joy out, live.
Oh, these are so profound, you guys. I love this.
This was so amazing. This is awesome. Thank you so much for like starting off like this, because this is fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll share mine because I actually really fuck with it. Let me see where it is. Okay, can you guys see it? New share. I'm just gonna do this one. Okay. Peace. Tell, whisper. Not always easy. Want, happy, adventure, world, remember. I love this. This was fun. Thank you. Oh guys, well that was a warm-up just to get our palates wet with the poetry. I highly recommend that you continue using this magnetic poetry kit as a resource, because it's just a really fun way to, like, if you're ever feeling writer's block, or if you're feeling like you just want to like write a different way but not type necessarily or use a pen, you can definitely continue to do that. So awesome. I do want us to get into the other activities today. So
Can I share mine?
Oh, who's that?
Erica, can I share mine? I didn't share mine.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Erica. Sorry, I didn't see your hand raised. Go ahead.
No problem. All right, this one's inspired by my son's birthday. Okay.
Cool.
Mountain, morning mirror, see a summer sun, imagine a baby elephant birthday. The end.
That's really sweet. Why did you call him a baby elephant?
Because I've seen like dog, elephant, I've seen all kind of animals. I just chose elephant.
Oh, that's really sweet. I like that. It was a good image. Thank you.
But thank you. Okay.
No doubt. Yeah. I love all the poetry. Lots of really profound work.
I have a question or something to say.
Yeah,
when I was writing it, I just went on like 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, and then I didn't get to read the line 5, and I assume it was 5 words. So I did 5 words at the end, and then I look back, and then it says 1 word on line 5. I just wanted to say that I had to take 4 words on the last line.
Yeah.
And that is really fun to write these sequence.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, what's a great thing about poetry is, like, you know, while there are conventions and tropes, like there are no rules when it comes to poetry. So you wrote your own version of a sequence. Like if you like how it is with the 5 words versus the 1 word, completely up to you. So with that, I love to embrace the chaos of poetry and talk about today's focus with how really, like, I often find when I put a lot of pressure on myself with these workshops because I'm type A and I take this shit seriously. But at the end of the day, like, right, like being a poet being an artist is about like nurturing your inner child. And that kid just wants to have fun and just be loved and like play. And art should be fun. It shouldn't, it takes a lot of work to make good art or art that is constantly pushing your creativity. But at the end of the day, like we want to have fun. So I wanted to focus on like some of my favorite poems and poetic devices that really inspire me or get me excited to read and then ultimately write and experiment with some of these things. So today we talked a little bit about new forms of poetry, and I hope to expose you guys to new literary devices or poetic devices today and some new poems. So we're going to talk about this word cacophony. And not only is it just fun to say, but it is something that is fun to write with. Can I get a volunteer to read what a cacophony is?
Cacophony is the use of a combination of words with loud, harsh sounds in reality as well as literature. In literary studies, this combination of words with rough or unharmonious sounds are used for a noisy or jarring poetic effect. Cacophony is considered the opposite of euphony. Thank you, which is the use of beautiful, melodious sounding words. I feel like my voice right now is very cacophonous.
I love that. No, I would describe it as sultry. It's very like, I'm like, you know, listening to late night music. Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Andrea. But yeah, cacophony. It's like, it's about like harsh sounding words. Just look at an example of cacophony here. It's one of my favorite poems. I've done it in a workshop before called Jabberwocky, and we focused on the nonsense words. So like we were looking at meaning, but when I read the poem now, I want people to just focus on the sounds of the words, even the title, Jabberwocky. Okay? Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. And this is from Lewis Carroll. He wrote Alice in Wonderland. He was very high when he wrote it, lots of cool, trippy stuff. But this was one of the poems that he wrote with nonsense from that text.
Can you make it a little bigger, please?
Oh, yeah, sure. And I will put this in the chat as well, but thank you for the reminder. In case people want to read on their own desktops. Jabberwocky. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, to gyre and gimble in the wave. O mimsy, where the burrow grows, and the mome rafts outgrave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jib bird and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So he rested by the tumtum tree and stood a while in thought. And as an uffish thought he stood, the jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffing through the tulgey wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker snack. He left it dead, and with his head he went galumphing back. And hast thou seen the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O fraptus day, Kalu Kalay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, to gyre and gimble in the wave. O mimsy, where the burrow grows, and the mome rafts outgrave. Okay, so that's a Jabberwocky. So before we dive into like, again, the use of language here and the cacophonous words, like, can somebody give me a brief summary of like what this poem is about roughly, even though it's all nonsense, there's a lot of meaning in it. What happens in the poem?
Is it a creature?
Yep, the Jabberwocky is a creature. What kind of creature?
It sounds like a creature to me, and I see. Boy, the words are really interesting and funny, and so it's talking about to be aware of. Let's see.
So the Jabberwocky, as you said, is a monster. It's like a creature. I imagine something like a dragon, right? In my head, this was where it went. There's no description, so I'm able to get creative. But essentially, like what we have here is like a hero's story, right? It's like his father telling his son, like, beware the Jabberwock, and the son takes his sword, slays the dragon, comes back home a hero. Pretty straightforward. And so he tells the story though in a poetic form, using nonsense words: mimsy, mome, chortle, jib-jib-bird, bandersnatch. All of these things are made up words, nonsense words. So it's fun. But let's focus on like the impact of cacophony. He uses a lot of harsh sounding words. What impact do those harsh sounding words have on your experience as the reader? Or the audience, I should say here, because we read it out loud.
Can you say that
It's a lot
again?
of,
My question was, what impact does the harsh sounding words have on your experience as the reader or listener?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say there's a lot of like consonants, a lot of like the verbiage is very harsh.
Yeah. And so for me, when I was reading it out loud, it's just fun to read because there's a lot of like dynamic sounds. And so this is written for children. And so for children, it really hits home the like, he uses onomatopoeia a lot, like with snicker snack, galumphing, right? Kalukale, like all these things are examples of like noises. And so the harsh sounding noises really give like the conflict comes alive with the harsh sounding noises. So yeah, this is an example of a cacophony. So for our prompt, we put 5 minutes on the clock again. Noise, particularly for a lot of us from New York City, is a constant part of our lives. And so I want to put 5 minutes on the clock for you to write a poem describing a day in the life, a weekend morning, or your whole weekend in your life using cacophony, focusing on the sounds. And specifically, I want you to challenge yourself here and don't name where you're writing about, like when or where, like the time of the day or the setting, the physical location, but maybe have us guess it at the end of the poem. So I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock for us to write our cacophonic poems, and your 5 minutes begin now. Okay. Take about another minute and start wrapping up your work. And if you're interested in sharing, please do come on, raise your hand, excuse me, and then we'll take some volunteers to read us some cacophonic poems.
I'm saying that we'd be mad shy, but I don't really have. It's a little harder for me to write.
No, if you don't, do you want to share?
No, not really.
Okay, no pressure. And if you want to share and you want me to read it, I can do that too. Whatever you'd like.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yes, no pressure. You know, if you don't want to share, you don't have to. So yeah, we're coming down on time. Does anybody want to share their cacophonic poem about their weekend? I'd love to hear what people focus on.
I could share.
Sure, Mari, please.
Should I go now? Or wait a little?
Yep, you can share, Mari.
Okay, should I go now?
Sure. Mhm.
Okay. Saturday is the Saturdiest. Mornings are the rushiest. Lots of reading, lots of singing, lots of laughing, lots of winning. Sundays are the Sundiest. Mornings are the sleepiest. Lots of dreaming, lots of resting, lots of thinking, lots of family bonding.
I love that. It sounds like a beautiful Sunday for you, Mari. I really appreciate you.
Lots of writing, I should add,
Mhm. Yes.
with today's workshop.
Yes. Put that in. Cool. Thank you.
I can add it up. Mhm.
Oh, who was that?
I can just add it. I can add one
Yeah,
more line.
you can. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Other folks want to chime in?
This was really hard for me, honestly, pero
Yeah. Why was it tough for you, do you think? Did other folks find challenges with this one, this prompt?
yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know why I got unmuted, but I just wrote a few lines, and this doesn't actually happen anymore. Ching cha, ching ching cha, cha. Muchacha, ven a limpiar. Let go of the weak. Splish splash of the Florida water. That's it. That's all I got right now.
Well, that's good. That was really like, I was there and I hear yeah, I hear it. That was really good. Mhm.
Thank you.
And if you left it like that, I think it's really powerful. But you could definitely expand on it.
Oh, I could just leave it like that. You're right. Let's embrace the short poems.
Yeah,
You're
embrace
right.
it, you know, length, you know. What is
Hey.
it? Size doesn't always matter. I don't know about
Sabe,
that.
ya tú sabes.
But yes, thank you, Andrea. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was good. Interesting that other folks found it challenging as well, though. I think possibly it could have been the initial poem. It was a little bit hard and a little confusing, but essentially just like when you're writing, using the quality of the sound of the words, to consider, like, if read aloud, what will this sound of this word convey? Not only like the word's meaning as you read it, but like the sound quality is important, especially with poetry, right? Because poetry is meant to be read out loud, or performed. So consider that. Okay, we will jump to the next one. And for the sake of time, I'm just gonna define the, oh my God, you're seeing all my mess. The activity, and jump into it. So there's an article that I'll share in the chat in a second, but it's basically about the persona poem. And the persona poem is a awesome writing strategy. And I'll read out what essentially it is really quickly from this essay by Patricia Smith. And essentially, if you start at the bottom, I'll read it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to deal with the persona poem. And that would be what? Let's leave our weary wordsmiths for a moment and turn our attention to coming up with a definition that works. In a persona poem, the writer eliminates the middleman and actually becomes the subject of his or her poem. The voice is both immediate and immediately engaging. In the best cases, the poem's audience is drawn into a lyrical narrative by someone they want to know better: a taxi driver, Little Richard, an undertaker, a bungee jumper, Richard Speck, the captain of the Andrian Doria. In fact, they become so in tune to the storyteller's energy that it becomes difficult to believe a poet was ever involved at all. The poet, whether on or off stage, on page or on stage, is simply a conduit for the story. So essentially what this is like you're becoming an actor. You're taking on the perspective and voice of another person. And so in general, when we are in life, we often take on personas depending on our context. Where we are at work is not the same thing we are with our families. So that's our personas in practice. But when we're writing as poets, as writers, we take on another persona because we have our writing voice that we embody. So we become different. But if you're writing fiction, you're not yourself, you're the narrator. Or if you're writing in a first person, you're writing in that story. So essentially a persona poem is taking on the perspective of another in order to write a piece of literature. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to look at this example by Edgar Allan Poe, one of my favorite poets, literally so good. He does this poem about this lover, Annabel Lee. And you would think Edgar Allan Poe was writing about himself, but it's actually, he's writing from the perspective of another character who's fictional. So Annabel Lee. It was a many year ago in a kingdom by the sea that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, where we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. And with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that our high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulcher in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life, and my bride, in her sepulcher there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Okay. One of my favorite poems. I hope y'all love it too. And essentially, Edgar Allan Poe takes on the persona of a lover, talking about this fictional character, Annabel Lee. And we're able to imagine like, oh, Edgar Allan Poe wrote this. And it's like, nah, it's not Edgar Allan Poe. He's taking on the persona of the speaker. So for our prompts, I want you to write from the perspective of another persona that is different than you in some part of your identity. So for example, if you're the youngest sibling, write from the perspective of the eldest sibling. In not specifically you, but from an eldest sibling, right? Or if you're a human, which maybe some of us are, write from the perspective of your morning cup of coffee. Get creative. So again, I'm gonna put 5 minutes so we can write. You got 5 minutes, go.
We write anything,
Any, like, take on the perspective of a person, place, or a thing.
okay.
But the challenge here is to write from in some aspect that is distinctly different than your perspective. So if you're a short person, write from the tall person's perspective. You have gray hair, right? You have blonde hair, switch it up. We have about another minute left. If you're interested in sharing, I'd love to hear from folks. Please raise your hands. All right. How are folks feeling? 5 minutes went by quickly, but yeah, are folks ready to share? Or do they want a few more minutes?
A few more minutes, please.
Yeah, got you. All right, I'm gonna put 2 more minutes on the clock.
Are we in a space to recite? We have a few moments.
Wrapping up, but Erica, if you would like to share, you can kick us off.
Yes, I would love to.
Awesome, excited to hear.
I'm just as shy as everyone. I'm just a little more outspoken. Okay. So this is my poem that I just created. Each loop and thread has stories untold. I've held space for generations. I've seen mothers teach daughters how to preserve the tradition. For decades, I've been a warm addition. I'm not sure when I'll unravel apart, but while I'm here, I'll continue to warm hearts. That's a blanket.
We love that. I love blankets. Great job.
Thank you, thank you. I crochet, so I wanted to choose something that was relevant.
I used to crochet when I was in 3rd grade. And for me, what I remember most is just the repetitive practice of the hand movements. It becomes meditative.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think there's something there. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this exercise.
Yeah. Other folks want to share their poetry? Interested to hear what other personas people tried on.
I can share.
Sure, go ahead, Andrea.
I know she's not good if I haven't seen her in more than a week. Her busy bee, depressive ass is choosing sleep before getting with me. I've been with her since day one. Her mother, La Abuela Margarita, the same one with her middle name, the same technique, yet everything's changed now. It's just me and her. I told her I'm a sacred ritual. She may be starting to see that the knots in her life can be unraveled and cared for with me.
Ooh, what is it?
My comb.
Wait, okay. So reread it, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know she's not good if I haven't seen her in more than a week. Her busy bee, depressive ass is choosing sleep before getting with me. I've been with her since day one. Her mother, La abuela Margarita, the same one with her middle name, the same technique, yet everything's different now. Everything's changed now. I wrote that too. It's just me and her. I told her I'm a sacred ritual. She may be starting to see that the knots in her life can be unraveled and cared for with me.
That was fire. I really like to
Thank
hear
you.
that, and hearing it twice. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
I need that.
Hair is such a powerful identity marker, and particularly for women, for Latinas, for like Afro-Latinas specifically. And I think about my own knots that I get when I test, and then I'm like, oh, when I detangle it, it's like torture.
And I'm showing you my hair like right now because it's a battle. It's a battle. It's a battle. And yeah, thank you for saying that.
I think I would say if you call it a battle, if you made the comparison between your comb as like a weapon or a sword, I think you could talk about like that. I think that could be a good metaphor to extend into your poem.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome. Do other folks want to share?
I can share. My voice is not great, but
no, you're fine.
Okay, I wrote from the perspective of my sister.
Okay.
I see her calling. Her picture comes across the screen of my phone. It is just a few feet out of grasp. I clutch onto the bottle, the only one who doesn't judge me, the only one who doesn't ask me to rehabilitate, the only one who is predictably the same every day, even in foreign countries where I have lived for the past 12 years. The bottle has held my hand for as long as I can remember, so much that I asked him to welcome me into his community so I won't feel alone. I thought that moving here across the world would leave my pain behind, as though I had a passport and it did not. Yet my pain is sneaky and always managed to slip into my suitcase, even when I had it plastic wrapped. I see her calling, her picture across the screen of my phone. I still love her, but these bottles are my safety now. Cool.
Oh, Ivory, that was beautiful and honest and really, really fascinating. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
If you could title it, the title I thought of was like, if you called it The Stowaway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you like, you know.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that was really, really powerful. Yeah, addiction is hard. I mean, also like we're in a writing space, and so a lot of people are gonna get vulnerable, and so like what we share here stays here, and also like, yeah, like just I really appreciate the vulnerability for you to share that. So awesome. Anybody else want to share?
I can share.
Go ahead.
I really don't know what to write. Perhaps I didn't understand the directions. Perhaps I understood them backwards. Perhaps I'm simply not good at poetry. Perhaps I don't know what I'm doing. I give up so easily. I need much more time. 5 minutes is nothing. For creating takes not only brainstorming, but talent, technique, and ability. It takes genius to write a good poem. A bad one, not so much.
What perspective were you thinking on? What persona?
From a friend.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. That was dope. Well, I do have one more activity that I want us to dabble with really quickly. So thank you all for sharing. And yeah, appreciate y'all. That was fun. So we're gonna do one of my favorite words in the English language and one of my favorite literary devices, oxymorons. My room is an organized mess or controlled chaos, if you will, same difference. An oxymoron is a figure of speech that puts together opposite elements, two contrasting ideas. The combination of these contradictory elements serves to reveal a paradox, confuse, or give the reader a laugh. So in this sentence, organized mess, controlled chaos, same difference. These three examples of our conundrums that like, how can that exist? But like, does it? And so it could be something farcical or profound, the fact that these contradictions exist. So another one is jumbo shrimp, right? Like it's jumbo and shrimp. So it's fun to play with. We're jumping to this excerpt from Romeo and Juliet as an example. So why then, oh brawling love, oh loving hate, oh anything of nothing first create, oh heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love I feel, that feel no love in this. So again, we have examples, heavy lightness, chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire. There's that tension. He feels like, this is what I feel. It's so strong that like, it's an inner battle in me, but it's like about like a positive feeling, which often happens all the time. So again, like these could invoke profound truths, because there are certain truths about like, living in controlled chaos or everything like that, or it could be really funny. So it's up to you to choose. For this last prompt, at the core of oxymorons is contradiction. And so I would love for us to dabble in writing a poem highlighting the contradictions of the adults in our lives when we were kids or are currently in our lives, of your parents or elders that they've had or had. So their contradictions. So what is it like in this? All right. We'll get 5 minutes on the clock so we can write. Actually, I'll put 4 minutes. It's running down on time. So 4 minutes to write oxymorons about our families. Go. right, start wrapping up. And for this final prompt, if we could get volunteers to share if they would like to. Love to hear what people wrote about. All right. Thank you all. Does anybody want to share their poem? Do we need more time?
For me, it'll take all Sunday.
No worries.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with much on this one.
Yeah, this one can be a little bit hard. Oxymorons, you know, think about contradictions. Okay. Well, if folks don't want to share, we can wrap up. But I would love to hear your poems if you want to keep working on these, if you want to share them. But what I love to do is just wrap us up with kind of like ending. So I hope you all enjoyed the various things we talked about. We talked about 3 things today. We talked a little bit, well, 4 things. We introduced a sequein form at the beginning. Then we talked about just having fun with words. We did a cacophony. We did persona poem, and then we did oxymorons today. So definitely incorporate these into your next writing. If you're thinking about like things in your toolkit, feel free to pull from these, feel free to like the poetry magnets, like definitely dabble with whatever you feel comfortable with. And also I encourage folks to like refer to the classics as much as they can, because there's a lot to learn from those as well. But without further ado, I really want to thank everybody for their time and attention today. Like, you guys were a great group. A lot of people, their first time reading can be nerve-wracking, but I hope you all felt supported and loved in your artistry and felt nurtured in this space. Really, again, I want to thank everybody for their time and attention today. Dominican Writers Salon, we do it every Sunday, unless otherwise noted. Particular holidays, different things, but in general, we're always here. We love your support. So follow us on Instagram, Dominican Writers, and yeah, follow me, your facilitator, Nicco Diaz, NYC. I'm a poet, working on some projects, really trying to be out here pounding the pavement. I perform in New York every month. And yeah, I really thank you for your time and attention. And if you wanna, in the chat, share your Instagram handle so we can stay connected with your fellow artists, so we can, again, nurture that community, nurture your inner artists, so that way you can flourish. Definitely encourage you all to stay connected, stay in touch, and I wish you well, and have a great Sunday, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicco. Are you gonna share your slides?
I'm gonna share what?
Are you gonna share your slides? Because I want to go back to the prompts.
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, thank you.
I can, Yadi, I can we include the deck with the recording?
Yes, I think she's gonna post it on the network, the mining network, Dominican Writers Mining Network. Yeah.
Cool. So Andrea,
Okay.
if you want to message me on Instagram for it personally, you can send it there, but the recording will be on the group. Okay.
Okay, Tabi. Thank you.
No doubt. Thank you all today.
Thank you for an awesome workshop. This was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
on
It was
Sunday.
great. Thank you, Nicco, Josie.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you, everyone. Keep
Have a good Sunday.
a good writing.
Pasa buen día.